we didn't realize that we had the same acting manager. And so I go to this audition, and he walks into the room, and I'm like just mesmerized by his beauty. And I was like, I didn't think he was into guys. He just was so beautiful. I was like, that would be a miracle if like he would ever consider me.
Valentine's Day is fast approaching, which means your local grocery store is overrun with red rose flower arrangements, heart-shaped boxes of chocolates, and a variety of fluffy pink stuffed animals. It also means your Instagram feed is filled with couples posting photos awkwardly kissing, candlelit dinners for two, and an unbelievable number of coordinated monochromatic outfits in a wide range of ruby hues. We kid. You won't find a Valentine's Day cynic here. Oh no, not on Pride. We embrace the season of love, which is why we wanted to bring you a real modern-day love story of two men you may think you know from their viral TikToks or clever YouTube videos. But we have a feeling they might surprise you. Today we're chatting with social media power couple Nicky Champa and Pierre, who have the ability to make their millions of followers swoon collectively, and just might make you believe that real love is in the air, or in this case, online.
Hey guys!
Hey!
We're gonna play a game of our first
couple edition.
While these two lovebirds may seem to have it all, being a same-sex couple in the public eye comes with its challenges. Today, Nicky and Pierre share with us their love story, their highs and lows, and how they navigate the pressure of being perfect online.
Hey, I'm Nicky.
And I'm Pierre.
And this is Pride.
So, where did you guys meet?
So we met at a movie audition, and it's funny, this story, we tell it so many times, but it's a pretty funny story.
Nicky and Pierre were two aspiring actors who followed their dreams and moved to, you guessed it, Los Angeles, California. For Nicky, the move meant a long plane ride from New York to the West Coast. But for Pierre, who was born and raised in Paris, France, the move meant facing the shocking reality of being an immigrant in America.
I used to watch old movies of Hollywood stars with my grandmother. I was a big fan of Hollywood stars. And that was always a dream for me to come to Los Angeles because of those memories that I had with my grandmother, and also because I wanted to be an actor. And I studied acting, dancing, and art in Paris. And I came here, I jumped into it without knowing where I was going, without knowing where I was going to stay or what I was going to do. I was very young, so I had no idea about the whole immigration process or anything. And I just decided to move to LA.
With a visitor visa tucked away in his carry-on, Pierre moved into a hostel in the US. When he told his peers of his plans to stay in the States, they broke the news to him about the logistics of moving to America.
I thought you could just come here and stay. I didn't know you needed a visa for that or anything. And they're like, no, it doesn't happen like that. That's a beautiful way of thinking, but it's not happening like that. It's not like that. And I stayed in a hostel for the 3 first days, and actually I stayed to the hostel for 6 months, but like the 3 first days I decided to stay at a hostel, and then little by little I decided to stay, and I figured out ways to stay, and I met this beautiful young man on my long journey.
In 2017, Nicky and Pierre were both sitting in a waiting room preparing for an audition that would hopefully be their ticket into Hollywood. But what neither of them expected was to find love.
So I texted my manager, and I was like, this beautiful guy walked into the room, and do you know anything about him? So he's like, send me a picture of him. So I like kind of snuck a picture, like kind of in between my legs, like that sounds weird, like over my knee, like kind of, and it caught my boot in it, which would come to be like how he knew it was me.
Yeah.
And so I sent him the picture, my manager, and then I didn't hear anything back. It was like I was texting him, and like the 3 dots showed up, and then they went away. And then I heard someone's phone go off in the room.
My phone.
And I look over and he's looking at his phone. And
when I got the picture.
And then our manager texted me, was like, he's my client, Pierre. Like, I just sent him the picture. Go talk to him. And I was like, oh my God. I was so embarrassed and I wanted to die. And then like also like the pre-audition nerves. I was like, just kill me. This is like too much for me to handle. So I kind of like hid in my lines. And then I see him get up. And he came over to me.
He had to say hi.
Yeah.
I was like, so because my version of the story is the same. It's just I also saw him on the corner when I first got in. But he was very much into his phone. He was just looking at his phone. And I got that picture and I recognized, oh my God, it's the boot of this guy that I think is it's the same boot. Is it this guy? But I was surprised because he did not look at me once. Or I think you're shy, right?
I'm very
you were
shy,
a bit shy.
Yeah.
So I thought he was shy and I was like, well, let me just make the first step and go say hi. Because if you have only one life, it would be stupid to let this,
And the rest is history.
Yes.
What movie was this? Can you say what it was that you were auditioning for?
It was like not, everybody asked this. It was like kind of just a dumb, like indie, I don't even know. And what's funny is like, no, like we both auditioned and I got all the way to the end of the movie and then it got canceled. Like the movie just like lost funding or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but like we got each other. And so that was like the best.
It was a little
So that was the outcome.
Yeah, that was the outcome. That was the purpose.
I think so.
Yeah.
Adorable, right? That movie may have gotten canceled, but the way these two found each other should be a movie on its own. Since the two met in 2017, Nicky and Pierre have documented their love story online through short 30-second videos posted to their TikTok accounts. From silly pranks to skits highlighting their cultural differences, the stars have a way of pulling on their audience's heartstrings. But navigating the world of social media through a consumer's perspective is difficult. Separating what is honest from what is staged has become more challenging as these social platforms grow and expand. How much of this picture-perfect romance is authentic?
I would say all the like funny shit and stuff that we do is like, or like the things that we've kind of used in TikTok format is like things that we discovered together.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, it's like formulated into a TikTok way, like
Mm-hmm.
you have, and it's played up for comedic value. But like a lot of like funny shit happens to us, and we also have very beautiful moments that were like, this feels not real. It's so nice and great,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it's really nice. I think the turning point that we're in now and what we're trying to focus on with YouTube is to kind of move past the 15-second, 25-second beautiful glimpses or hilarious glimpses and show like really real moments and like show that like our relationship is not butterflies and roses 24/7. Like relationships take work and we put a lot of work into ours. I mean, we spend literally 24/7 together and that's not easy. And then on top of it, the social media, it's another layer of like toxicity that we have to navigate through and help each other through.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I would say we also have to entertain, right? And we have a very short time to entertain on TikTok. But what we usually do is we inspire ourselves from our own personalities. That sometimes we have to multiply, by 3 or 4.
Yeah,
maybe 10. I don't know. But like we just take it in a way that is entertaining. But everything that we do, yes, is definitely based on the reality of the happiness that we have to be together so many times.
What you don't get to see in a TikTok relationship are the arguments that occur off camera. Because let's be honest, all relationships have them.
These are so personal that it would be hard to take a camera and then just try to record that because we would shut off right away.
But we're working on it.
But we're working on it on a more longer format kind of video.
Yeah.
Because we would need at that moment somebody to film for us so we can stay focused on our feelings and on the conversation we're having.
Yeah.
Because that would be a bit hard to just share that on TikTok. Yes.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
Needless to say, there's a lot about Nicky and Pierre the world doesn't get to see, like how energized Pierre is in the morning.
I mean, when I wake up next to Nicholas, he has to tame me down because I'm kind of, in the morning, I'm a very happy person. So I'm very like
And I'm not.
lovey-dovey and obnoxious. I'm that kind of person that loves that way. So it's definitely real.
Yeah.
It's easy to forget when you're consuming hours worth of content from a creator that this is only a small window into their life. But internet trolls love to pretend they know everything about anything.
We get a lot of comparison between the two of us.
Yeah.
So whoever is the better one, whoever's the prettiest one, that is already very toxic.
Or
because
who's better for each other, right?
who's better for
like,
each
oh,
other.
Pierre doesn't deserve Nick, or Nick doesn't deserve Pierre. Like, that shit bothers me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Most of the time, the couple can push the toxic comments aside and move on. But every once in a while, someone will say something that will strike a nerve.
I think what really tends to be a point of conflict between us is like when those comments or attacks or trolls kind of touch on something personal that you're struggling with or I'm struggling with, that I've had traumatic experiences in the past based on. Sometimes we joke and they're like, they really know how to get at us, you know, like how to like
Yes.
hit those points of like really the, oh, you found the sweet spot.
It's the comments that matches or that go parallel with your inner dialogue or of
We
your
call it-
inner judgments of yourself. Then that's when it hits hard, because then you think automatically, so I was right. I am actually acting like a baby, or like I am not acting the way I should act at my age, and it's hard already to tame those voices inside of ourselves. So when we receive it from the outside world, it's even harder to do that work on ourselves, you know?
We call it
So
the
this
nervous
is-
narrative.
Yes, the nervous
We
narrative.
said don't lean into the nervous narrative.
Sharing your relationship with the public comes with many side effects. Sharing your same-sex relationship with the public comes with even more side effects. But Pierre and Nicky say they are determined to create a loving environment where other queer kids can feel like they're not so alone.
I saw a lot of LGBTQ love stories being so traumatic and sad and like have a really deep struggle. And so when we kind of were given and built this platform, I think it's both of our mission to not necessarily lean into that. Like, it happens and we talk about it, but I feel like we really want to portray like, and because most of the time it is this for us, like that you can find happiness in an LGBTQ relationship. Like, you can have that dream that the media and the world portrays for straight people. You know what I mean? So I feel like that's something we constantly are like, this situation sucks. And yes, we have a responsibility to share that we are struggling at times with our mental health or whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
But it's also really important to not lean into that too much, because that's also not who we are as people. Like, we like to lean into the hope and the positivity and,
Yes,
and like really
exactly.
portray that, because
Mhm.
that's really important for us.
Mhm.
And and I think it's also really important to show that to the kids that follow us, because there's a lot of kids that you can get through this. It's just work,
Yes. But at the end of the day, I have to say I'm very, very happy that we actually got that exposure because of the happy moments.
Yeah.
This is good, because that would be bad if it was always about the bad moments.
Yeah.
Because then we would make not the image that we wanted for our community.
Yeah.
and what we want to inspire youngsters out there to be themselves without fear.
It's not about being the best gay couple on the internet. Nicky says he prefers to not label his relationship.
The truth is, for me, I've never felt gay enough, and I've never felt straight enough, and I've never felt, because I've had a long-term relationship with a girl before Pierre. I felt like I never belonged to something. I never felt like anything really like grabbed me, other than just being myself, and without having to define it. And so for me personally, that's like my truth. Like, that's me, I 100% understand that for a lot of people, having that identity as being gay or having that label or whatever makes them feel empowered and part of something. And I respect that and I love that. I just think that going forward in life, I think that at one point we're all going to have these labels and names, and the reality is we just want to be loved, and we want to have love, and we want to be accepted for who we love and accepted for who we are. And I think that's just the most important thing.
When we come back, the misconceptions of queer relationships and a little trouble on the ski slopes. My boyfriend always says I'm the king of fun facts. Randomly and often unsolicited, I share my knowledge of a bird we saw at lunch, or why some cereal just doesn't get soggy. I get it, some information doesn't seem important. But here's an important and shocking fact that I was surprised to learn. Did you know that men's healthy sperm count has dropped by nearly 50% in the last 40 years? This is likely something you did not know or think you'd ever learn, but now you do. 1 in 4 men over 30 is low in testosterone, and maybe this doesn't affect you, but it likely affects someone you know. Some of the symptoms are lacking energy or fatigue, erectile dysfunction, low sex drive, anxiety, brain fog, and difficulty making decisions. So if you've heard any of the men in your life complaining of one or more of these symptoms, they could have low testosterone. But how would they know? Pride is happy to be sponsored by Let's Get Checked, a company with a mission to make professional health testing accessible. They provide fast, affordable, and confidential at-home male hormone test kits to help take a measured approach to health, allowing men to measure their hormone levels from the comfort of their homes. Pride listeners get 20% off by going to trylgc.com/SMR and using the code SMR20. Choose your test online, and it will be delivered to you in discreet packaging with next-day delivery. Collect your sample and return it using the prepaid shipping label. Once your sample arrives in the laboratory, confidential results will be available from your secure online account within 2 to 5 business days. Your results will be reviewed by a physician, and a nurse will contact you for a consultation over the phone. So you will receive care from diagnosis to treatment without ever having to go to a doctor's office. Let's Get Checked laboratories are CLIA approved, which is the highest ranking level of accreditation, and all data is completely anonymized to ensure your privacy is maintained throughout the process. This test will let you know what's going on inside so you can take a scientific approach to improve your life. This isn't just for men who feel like something is wrong. All men should regularly test their hormone levels. Get 20% off at trylgc.com/SMR with code SMR20. That's trylgc.com/SMR. If you're familiar with Nicky and Pierre's content, you know they're always running around and making each other laugh. Their lighthearted content can make even the darkest day seem just a little brighter. As we were doing research on just a lot of videos and things that you've done that have done really well. And I found that your, I think the concept is called Guess That Fart. If you don't mind just kind of describing this content formula, as you put it, and who came up with that, and does it work?
If we're going to be like completely honest, like I think it's the French. I don't know. They're like, and I'm Italian. I feel like we always, I don't know, it's just a free-for-all sometimes. And so I think we were like, well,
we've been together for 4 years.
Almost 5 years.
Almost 5 years. It's like, that would be very unhealthy if we had to hold our farts for that long.
So it's just,
it's gotta get out there.
Like, it's funny, like we talk to our manager sometimes, like whenever we're like on a project or stuff, like for example, we were shooting something at our house and we kept running upstairs to our bedroom, and like I was like, Pierre, she's thinking we're doing something like sketchy in the bathroom, and I'm like, no, we're just going to fart, sorry.
Basically, they started pulling out their phone when they had to fart, but not before they asked their partner, what kind of fart is it going to be?
It was something that was going on TikTok, and we were like, I think that's
up our alley.
Something that we would do, you know?
In your relationship, you've been together 4 years. Did you, at some point there's like the first fart? Who
Pierre,
was it? And
it was Pierre.
It was me.
It was Pierre.
I think.
Was it awkward? Like
no. So I'll share my histories and then you share yours.
Okay.
So I was like, one of the first nights I was sleeping at his apartment, And the first time he walked out, and I was like, "Where are you going?" He's like, "Oh, I had to fart." I was like, "Okay." And then the second time, I think it was like that night, he just farted on me when we were like spooning. And I was like,
It was when we were spinning.
yeah, and I was like, "All right, like we're on that level now." It's like 3 weeks in, and we're on that level. So I don't mind. I thought it was cute.
So then, okay, on the same note then, with the first fart, who was the first one to say I love you?
Pierre.
Pierre, but a long time into it.
I wanted to say I love you since like the first weekend, but I knew with him, the way he was pacing things out, I was like, I like definitely had this conversation with myself where I was like, I cannot say it first. I have to let him come to me because he's getting out of like a serious relationship prior to me, and he's had many heartbreaks, and I was like, I just don't want to. And he said very bluntly, he's like, you have to earn my trust. Like, I need time with you. I need years. I need months. I need time with you just to know that you. No, but you did. But I mean, truthfully, I respected it because I didn't say it, you know?
Pierre was recovering from a long line of heartbreak and didn't think he was ready to launch into a relationship. But then he met Nicky.
So when I came to meet Nicholas, I was not ready for it. I was still hurting. I was still healing myself. And I did have no idea at that point if I actually could heal. And honestly, I was at that point, I give up. I give up. I will just, have my sneaky links. That's how they say now. Sneaky links on the side. And that's it. I will just do that. But Nicholas, through his vision of seeing love, and through his way, because he was 21 when I met him, his way of seeing and fantasizing about love, it kind of made me remember how I would fantasize about it too. And it kind of touched me in a way, Mm-hmm. So I feel like he kind of took my hand into this. And although he had to pull very hard on me to get to his point, I eventually got to that point, and I actually was like, let's do it, let's try it, let's do it again.
So I waited 6 months, and he told me I love you.
But you were ready, like when you were taking the photo over the boot, you were ready at that point.
Yeah, like it slipped out, I think, at some point where I was like, love you, and I was like, sorry. Yeah, so I took him to my mom's house for the first time in the summer of like 2017, and we were sleeping in her bed because she was sleeping in the guest room because she had a bigger bed, and he told me I love you in my mom's bed. So I thought that was hilarious.
Is that cute?
I don't know.
Cute. I'm sure if she's listening, she's like, that's kind of cute.
Yeah.
Though Nicky and Pierre feel the support from their millions of followers every day, they get a lot of pushback from older generations regarding their relationship.
I think we've all been conditioned a little bit that we're somehow disadvantaged for being LGBTQ. Like, there's a disadvantage. You're not going to have a real love story. You're not going to have kids. I mean, the truth is like, when I came out to my mom, like, that was the first thing she said to me was like, oh, I'm nervous. I'm so worried about your happiness, and you're not going to find love, and you're not going to have kids. And like, even I had family members saying to me, like, how are you going to appeal to teen girls? And if you want to be an actor, like, how are you going to appeal to these demographics when they know you're sleeping with a man? Well, what's funny now is most of our demographic is women and teen girls. It's just, I think what we've been conditioned into believing is that we're going to fail, that our relationships are not going to work, that there is no love story for us. And I think that's what pushed both of us to be like, fuck that. Like, we can make that happen. Let's do it. Let's try at least,
Mm-hmm. And again, stop putting us in cases and boxes.
Yeah.
I'm sure that there's many, many people out there that could live their true and real life, and if they were just being more flexible with ourselves, get out of the boxes and be in a world where it's celebrated,
Remember earlier when we spoke about the occasional arguments Nicky and Pierre get into? Sometimes the anger you feel in the moment makes everything more tense, and a bad situation can get worse. Like when Nicky took Pierre skiing in Colorado.
So I grew up going to Vail, Colorado, skiing. I grew up skiing, like, I'm good at it. It's like kind of second nature. I can stop skiing and just pick it up. I learned skiing very, very young, and I don't remember the process of learning skiing. I just know that I can ski. So just keep that in the back of the thought of everybody's head when I'm telling this story. So we get our skis and we go skiing. And it started off really good. Like I took him to the bunny hill just to get him, like he's never skied before, and he was really good. Like he was catching along like really well, and it was.
Were you doing your like pizza French fries?
Yes.
And he was even making turns. Like he was doing really good.
But then it took a turn for the worse when they ventured up the gondola and started exploring some actual snowy terrain.
I learned a lot that trip and that argument. Like we have a lot of constructive arguments. And so I selfishly was not prioritizing you. I was just wanting to ski, and that was my mistake, and I take ownership of it. So I really wanted to selfishly get started in skiing. You know, I haven't been skiing in so long, and it was like always a dream to bring like my love to my childhood. And so we start, and there was moments where like, oh, okay, the green circle, which is supposed to be the easiest, looks a bit scary. It's intimidating, and
it was terrifying.
So he crashes into the side.
No, so I can't stop. And those things, the nice easy runways that he's talking about, is that what he doesn't say is that on the other side, it's the end of the hill. If you fall from that catwalk, you fall, you die. Can you imagine the stress? So I cannot stop.
The stress of dying?
The stress of dying. And so I can't stop anything without brakes.
Then Pierre took a tumble, and he was not a fan of how Nicky reacted.
And the only thing I see when I wake up from my fall is my boyfriend laughing at me, on the floor.
I'm sorry.
And him being like,
it was fucking funny though. It was like he fell in it was like, because like when you fall skiing, there's a thing called like a yard. It's the worst, but it's also funny, you know?
Your skis get out.
Yes, because people who are good at skiing don't fall.
I know they don't fall.
I'm sorry. Right? I sound like the asshole. I'm so sorry.
And it's always very, very hard to stand up. And then at that point, I'm like, why did you laugh? This is not what I expect you from. That's not what I expect from you. I'm expecting, like reassuring me, supporting me, popping me up. And so I get a bit mad at this point, but I'm like, okay, let's keep going. And then at this point, I fall again. And now I'm already exhausted. Now I cannot get up. I cannot get up anymore. And after like 3-4 times I fell, I can't get up. So I decide to take off my ski, a good time forever, and I decide to walk down the hill.
They were not very close to the bottom at all. So Nicky tried to help Pierre get down the hill by taking a snowmobile. Well, that didn't go very well either.
There's nothing more frustrating that when you're trying not to be humiliated and you're trying to be like, okay, I'm gonna try that. I might get on the mobile thing, but maybe later. And it's just when we force you, it's like we force you to do something, It's like we take you away from your mission. I don't know. It's like
I hear you.
I don't know.
But it was coming from a good place.
They did get to the bottom of the mountain by snowmobile, and everything was resolved through open communication and, of course, tacos.
It's just, it's just conflicts. The thing is that in the conflicts, you cannot resolve it right away. It's not like you can do this and then your feelings are going to go away. You just need time. And we took time. We ate something that helps too.
Tacos.
Yeah, tacos.
Those tacos were bomb.
Oh, tacos are always good.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're good.
So I think my last question for both of you.
Yes.
One is, and you can both answer separately, but what do you love most about the other? And if there's one critically important thing that you've learned from that person, from him, to either of you, what is the most important thing that he's taught you?
So for Nicholas, what I love the most about him is that he's the person that cared the most ever about me that I've ever met. This is literally the truth, is that he was from the get-go willing to be so open to our relationship, open to the love story, open to everything's possible. He takes my hand and tells me, this is possible. You can do it. I believe in you. You can do this. You can do that. He's been the most supportive person I've ever met. I mean, it might sound cheesy, but it's just like the best thing that happened to me so far. For the trait of his personality that I like the most, it's his enthusiasm. Enthusiasm. It's his enthusiasm for life. It's a breath of fresh air for me, and especially at the place I was. It was and it still is a breath of fresh air every day in my life. His enthusiasm. Yes. That's true.
Pierre's gonna make you cry when it is time to do some vows or something. It's gonna be bad.
I know. Yeah.
No, it's true. Okay, that's really.
Oh, that was sweet. That's like
true.
You're so sweet. For Pierre, I met Pierre very young, very immature, and still am in so many ways. What I love about him the most is that he has a sweetness about him and an ability to see life in a way that I've never met anybody who could see life this way. Just a genuine sweetness that is so pure and like so hard to create and to like it's just embedded in his, like he will pick up a spider that's crawling around the house and move it outside so it doesn't get stepped on. Like just one of the sweetest, most genuine people I've ever met. And that sweetness helped me become a sweeter person and carried over into me, who I was somebody and still am working on it. But when I met him, I was filled with, kind of anger and resentment, and like I wanted to prove people wrong. And, I was coming from a childhood that was not necessarily easy. And he, like he says I did to him, he did the same for me. He took my hand and he basically said, I'm going to help you work through all of this and find your inner younger boy and find that, that sweetness in you. And he really never gave up on that, and he still doesn't, and he's just so patient. And I'm just so genuinely lucky to have somebody that is willing to not, give up on me, who I know at times can be extremely difficult and extremely annoying. And I'm just insanely lucky to have you. Oh,
thank you.
Sorry, now I'm gonna cry. And what I learned from him the most is that most valuable thing that I've learned is just his patience. This guy's been through so much fucking shit in his life, and to have the patience to kind of carry on and to be this sweet person is just like, it's incredible. It's just unworldly.
Nicky and Pierre continue to grow as a couple and as social media influencers every day. You can find their separate and combined accounts on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Oh, and if you're looking for a Valentine's Day gift, it might be a little late, but the couple has merch for sale online.
What we did is something that we usually wear a lot, which is something very comfortable. We're in sweats all the times. And we thought that would be a good place to start, is something that is authentic to us and that we really wear every day. And that is a place of comfort for us. So we made some very cute sportswear and little hat, a little bucket hat, a little baseball hat.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're very excited about that. It's our first time trying merch.
Yeah, it's just the beginning. We really want to dive into bigger things, but we just, like you said, we felt it was kind of a no-brainer to just start with kind of active wear, chill wear, and then branch out from there.
Yeah, but it's awesome to see the support of our followers and to buy the things that makes us happy. It's awesome.
Their line includes hats, hoodies, and t-shirts. They're all available for purchase at nickyandpierre.com. Pride is a production of Straw Hat Media. If you like the show, leave us a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Then follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok @Pride, and tune in weekly for more. Be sure to share this episode with your friends and subscribe for more stories from amazing queer people. If you'd like to connect with me, you can follow me everywhere @Levi Chambers. Pride is produced by me, Levi Chambers, Maggie Bowles, Ryan Tillotson, Caitlin McDaniel, and Brandon Marlowe. Edited by Silvana Alcala and Daniel Ferreira. Sound mixing by Silvana Alcala.
Are not always looking for something stable, and it was very hard for me to.
He just did a touchscreen. It's a
it's
a laptop here.
Computer. You see all these things. Is this like?
He literally just went like this to the laptop, like it was like he could slide it out of the way.
I always do that. I'm always trying to slide things.
See, the aloofness is real. Like this is where we get it. I'm like
Straw Hut Media.